Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's podcast. My name is Emma, and I am just so happy and blessed that you have decided to tune in. It means the absolute world that you're here. I'm just going to jump in, and I know I've already launched the name of the podcast on literally all of my social media, but this podcast is called Jesus Meets You Here. And I selected that name because I want people to know that no matter what season they're in, a season of waiting, infertility, a season of lust, financial, marital struggles, that if you call upon the Lord Jesus Christ, He is going to meet you right where you are, right in the center of whatever problem you're having. He will meet you there if you call upon Him. And for this particular season that me and my husband are in, we are dealing a lot with infertility and the season of waiting and just allowing God to take the lead in the unknown, and laying it at the Lord's feet is just such a difficult thing to do when you want something so bad. And I think I understand that firsthand. As human beings, it is just such a natural thing to want to be in control, especially be in control of a really uncomfortable situation. I often pair infertility with the weather because there are thousands of things you can do to prepare for bad weather. Get the flashlight, get the water, get the blankets, charge up the radio, and sit and wait for what's to come. And the one thing that we're so scared of is the one thing we can't control: the weather. Will it come? Will it hit my house? Do I need to be concerned? And I often, when I'm telling someone about our journey and how difficult it is, I do explain that to them. And then I go in to tell them that I have spent over $1,000 on infertility equipment and just trying to get in front and in control of that situation. Because I have spent over $400 on copays just to see my OB, because a lot of people don't know this. I didn't know this until I was struggling with it. As a young couple, you have to be struggling with infertility for 12 to 18 months before they will refer you to a fertility specialist. And it stinks, but that is just their protocol. And so I have spent a lot of money trying to be in control of something I have no control over. And it's really hard to just let that go and lay it at the Lord's feet. Um, so, in this particular series, we are going to be talking about several stories in the Bible of people who just had to wait on God's timing and allow God to fulfill His promise and to fulfill His desires for your life. And we're going to be talking about several stories about that. And we're also just going to be talking a lot about PCOS and fertility and what that means. And I kind of just want to educate people because a lot of it is not talked about, especially in young people. Another reason I'm starting this podcast is because specifically ages in young women, ages 18 to 25, you're told, go get an education, go have fun, go travel. When you settle down, you're not going to be able to do any of that. So it's kind of like you're told your whole life, go do all these things before you become a wife and a mother, because after that, your life is over. And I can't tell you how many times I've heard that just growing up, just being a young woman. And that really stinks because, you know, for some people, that might be God's calling. You know, God's calling for one young lady might be go go share my word, go travel, go get an education, and do all these things. But for a lot of women, and I feel like especially for me, I've never knew what I've wanted to do. I never knew if I wanted to be a nurse or a teacher or, I mean, just any occupation. I don't know. I still don't know. I'm 23 years old. I don't know what I want for my life. But I do know, I'm sorry, I don't want to get emotional. But I do know I want to be a mom. And I do know I want to be a wife. And I truly feel like that is God's calling for me. I'm sorry. And I feel like motherhood is such a beautiful thing. And, when you're really young and people ask you what you want to do with your life, and you're just like, I don't know, but I just really want to be a mom. I just really want these things for myself. And that's all I've ever really wanted. So to be dealt the cards I was dealt of, going your whole life and getting on birth control and trying to avoid all the things that you want just to reach an age and a stage in your life where I can finally do what I want. I can finally live my dream. And for it to not be in reach, and you have to just trust the Lord and what His plans are for you. It's a little difficult. I have some notes right here because I just didn't want to be all over the place. But if you feel like this podcast may not be for you because you're a man or because you're old or whatever, I know that you know someone who is dealing with infertility, who maybe just is a young couple, or maybe just a young lady who just got diagnosed with endometriosis or PCOS or any diagnosis that prevents you from having like regular menstruals and having children. I want you to know that you're not alone, and you might be an uncle or a grandmother or a mother-in-law, and you're like, oh, well, why would I need to listen to what she has to say? I want to tell you now, me and my husband have a very good support system. His side of the family and my side of the family are very involved, and they want to know what's going on and they want the updates. And sometimes when me and my husband are, sharing an update of the appointment or an update in our journey, we kind of get met with some really hurtful things. And my husband told me not to say this on here because he didn't want our family to feel like we're not appreciative of the support. But in all vulnerability, this podcast is to educate. And I'm trying to say this without sounding ugly, but some things that you would say to a regular couple really hurt someone that is dealing with infertility, especially a diagnosed like PCOS or endometriosis. You have to have several different things to get pregnant: surgeries, hormones, therapy. And what you may say to a regular couple isn't really what you need to say to someone who's dealing with infertility. And I'm not going to dive too deep into that because I'm going to do an entire episode on that. Just because there's a lot to say about it. I'm just so blessed to have this platform and to be able to open up and talk about the struggles. Every Sunday at 4 p.m., I'm going to post a new podcast. Whether you're showering, driving to the grocery store, meal prepping for your week, tune in. These episodes are not going to be but 15 to 20 minutes long. And just be on this journey with me. I'm going to update and share about my journey. We're going to have some special guest testimonies on here for young women, for people that have endometriosis, because I can't speak on something I'm not educated about. So we are going to have people that have diagnosed other infertility issues come on and speak. Um, I'm not sure where you're listening right now, but I do have a page where all my social medias are on there. I have YouTube. Full videos will be on YouTube. Full videos will be on Spotify. But due to the time links, Facebook and TikTok will get like shorts and clips. So wherever you're tuning in from, just go give all those socials a follow and stay informed. My end goal, if I've just helped one young lady or one couple, I have fulfilled what I've wanted to do. I have fulfilled what I feel like God's calling me to do. And so at the very end of every single video, we're going to do a prayer, and we're just going to pray over the message we received, pray over our week. On the page where you can look at all my social media, there is a way you can message me through that. All of my social media, you're welcome to message. And if you have prayer requests, or if you have something that you're struggling with that you want talked about on the podcast, feel free, because I am really excited just to educate and be a light for those that are struggling. So, with all that being said, I'm so happy that you're here, and I'm so happy you tuned in. This is an end of the podcast, and I'm looking forward to next week and seeing you guys next week. So, I hope you all have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.